Hi folks, how you doing? This is Iqbal with NVIDIA Daily Analysis. So NVIDIA slightly recovered today from yesterday losses. In this video, we'll discuss NVIDIA stock price movement for today and try to make an assessment for tomorrow and early next week. We'll also take a look at other AI stocks in this video. Now, let's get started. You see NVIDIA stock chart for today on your screen. NVIDIA opened at 121.85. It made a high 122.40. It made a low 116.56 and it closed at 121.29. That is 2.80% up. And after hours, it's already up 0.54%. So it's good to see that after a big loss yesterday, Nvidia finally recovered a little bit. So that's what I was expecting yesterday. Some recovery should happen today. But the threat is still not over yet. We need to watch how Nvidia behaves tomorrow. If Nvidia shows positive momentum tomorrow and also close positive, then we might think that next week some more recovery can happen on Nvidia. But apart from Nvidia, overall market was under pressure today. I mean the S&P, Dow Jones and Nasdaq. Let's take a look. So S&P 0.78% down, Nasdaq 0.70% down and Dow Jones 1.29% down. And also most of the tech and AI stocks were negative today. Let's take a look. The highest negative change you can see that is on SoundHound, and after that is AMD, Amazon, Apple, SMCI, and Microsoft. Palantir, Nvidia, and Avago are positive today, so that's a good sign. It's kind of surprised to me why Amazon is down today because the chip restriction that's coming from Biden administration, I don't think it's gonna impact Amazon too much. But it is what it is. I hope that Amazon should show some recovery tomorrow or early next week. Now, moving back to the Nvidia chart. So, last 5 days, Nvidia is still down 5.35%. Last 1 month, 10.54% down. And last 6 months, 112% up. So, it's still up above 100%. So, in the long term, there is still some room for Nvidia to go down. But in the short term, I am hoping for some recovery on Nvidia stock. Now let's take a look forward PE for Nvidia, Palantir, AMD, and SMCI and try to make some assessment. So as of this point, Nvidia forward PE is at 42.31, slightly higher than yesterday and also much lower than the last week closing, that was 47.88, and is still lower than the last 6 weeks of average. Palantir continues to go up, is still higher than the last week of forward PE, that was 85. SMCI is 25.68. I guess SMCI is now positioned comparatively well to show more recovery next week. AMD is 44.89. It's also down compared with the last week closing. So I guess yesterday was a good buying point for Nvidia, in my opinion, around 117. So yesterday my purchase for Nvidia stock around 121, I guess was not a bad deal. Now let's take a look Nvidia price distribution for last quarter and also this quarter. So as you see today, Nvidia went up about 2.6% and yesterday was 6.6% down. So overall for this quarter after earnings, Nvidia is still up 26.2%. And if you take a look at this chart, after first month after earnings, Nvidia started to go down. At this point, probably is about 15% down from the last month closing. So last month ended here somewhere around 35% from the earnings date, and now at this point is around 25 or 26%, probably about 10 or 12% down. And if you take a look last quarter historical data, the last quarter cumulative percentage by the end of second month after earnings was this one. That was about 20% from the earnings date. So from the start of the second month, it started going down, and we see that about 10 or 12% down from the start of the second month till the end of the second month in the last quarter. So I expect the same behavior this quarter as well. Is still following the same trend in this quarter. And if you remember, I showed you this file last week and also before that. So this was my price range for this quarter before earnings from 97 to 138.39. Still, I think that this price range is valid before next earnings. So if Nvidia gets more momentum before the earnings, then probably it may break the maximum price projection for Nvidia. So maximum point it touched in this quarter was around 140 something, right? So it already was slightly above my maximum price target. But 140 or 141 kind of makes sense to me before the next earnings. And on the minimum side, I guess 97 makes some sense to me. So if more negative or unwelcome news or data comes in the market, then Nvidia may go down further, but I'm not expecting Nvidia to go down below 97, regardless of how bad is the news comes in next few days or weeks before earnings. Now let's take a look Fibonacci levels. So these are my Fibonacci levels based on the highest point, and the lowest point I selected is 93.73. So these are the same levels I selected yesterday and day before yesterday as well. So based on that, the next support level was 117.14. And if you take a look today, Nvidia went down slightly lower than 117. Again, it got a pushback from that level. So this means that 117 was the good support level. If Nvidia goes down further below 116 or 7, then the next level was 112, as I showed you yesterday. On the upper side, the next level of resistance is 128.67, and after that is 129.51. So tomorrow, I'm hoping that it should break the resistance level of 122.67. And next week, we should be targeting 129.51. Because by the end or mid of the next week, the chip restriction news will go in the background. So market will be looking for other data or other news sometime next week. And also will depend on what kind of economic data is going to be released next week. Let's take a look. So based on the next week calendar, Monday, nothing is scheduled. Tuesday, nothing much. Wednesday, nothing much. Thursday, also nothing much. Only weekly initial jobless claims that might be somewhat important. On Friday, we have PC index or the inflation data coming, and that's important. So this means that early next week and the mid of the next week, pretty quiet. And since we are going into the earnings season, so as you see in this table, next week I do not see any significant earnings data coming that can impact Nvidia. So the relevant earning that can impact Nvidia much is coming sometime early next month, and that is AMD, SMCI, SoundHound, and somewhat Palantir as well. And also, as you know, that TSMC released its earnings sometime last night, and they were able to beat the revenue expectation, but they missed on the EPS. So on the revenue side, as I told you before, I was expecting that they should be able to beat the revenue because they were showing a very strong demand. But if you take a look earnings, it's all over the place in last 4 quarters, right? In the latest quarter, they missed 83%, but before that, they were able to beat it. And 1 quarter prior, again, they missed 83%. And 3 quarters prior, they were able to beat 596% the earnings. But revenue, you take a look, pretty consistent, about 1 or 2% beat every quarter. So on the EPS side, yeah, things are not stable. They need to work more on generating more profit on their products, but we can expect that it's not going to happen overnight, right? So TSMC stock slightly above from yesterday, but I'm guessing it should go further up tomorrow and early next week. And since TSMC showing a strong demand after taking a look this data, and this also tells that Nvidia should also be able to beat the sales expectation for this quarter, and they should also be able to report a better revenue guidance for the following quarter. I'm not going to go into the news regarding Nvidia and overall market because at this point there's nothing much regarding Nvidia and overall market other than the chip related news that we already aware of. I guess that's all about NVIDIA analysis and assessment for tomorrow and early next week. I hope you liked the video. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you more tomorrow. Take care.